about how you saw like a Dobby-like being. Is that, would that be considered a spirit animal? Or do you think that was a different sort of being, period?
That one, so I had a golem, but I've also seen a Dobby looking one, and I've seen trolls. They're all in that same bandwidth or frequency as fairies and gnomes.
Yes. Fairies.
And probably less talked about. But I had here at my house a couple of golems, like Lord of the Rings, but not mean or whatever, like the one in Lord of the Rings. It was more childlike and playful, and we jump in the dryer and tumble, and he would always run. He'd get the zoomies and run around my house, and he liked me to leave him apple juice. So we called him Precious. We would sometimes see him with our physical eyes manifest around the property, running around. Fairies I've seen manifest into our dimension. I've seen them with my physical eyes. My cats were trying to get them. Dragons, we didn't even touch on dragons.
Yes, that's why I wanted to ask you. Okay, so there's so much. One of my best. What if an artist could enter meditation, encounter your spirit guides and your spiritual support team, and then create a portrait of one of the guides standing beside you? And what happens when someone who spent 13 years living through intense paranormal experiences transforms those experiences into art, books, spiritual guidance, and practical tools for healing? Today's guest is Danielle, the intuitive artist and creator behind Spirit Art by Danielle. Danielle combines meditation, intuition, and artistic expression to create personalized spirit guide portraits. She is also the author of The Haunted Guest House, which shares experiences from 13 years of living through extreme paranormal activity. Danielle, welcome to the portal between worlds. I am so happy that you're here today. And we did experience a little bit of the technology glitches at first, and I'm so glad that we figured it out.
Thank goodness. Yeah, that was a struggle. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You had a lot of experiences throughout all of your years of your life. And I know for some of us, some of this starts when we're little. And some people, things start happening later in life, but a lot of us, when you're little, it can be scary sometimes when things like this are happening. So just take us back there.
Yeah, I have seen spirits around my bed and stuff since I was little. And so I always knew that there was an afterlife. My family, they're Christian, and my mom would argue with me and say, why would a ghost be on earth, like wandering around, when there's heaven and hell, and that's where they go? They don't hang around here. So, but here I am looking at them, and you just can't tell me what I'm not looking at with my own eyes. I started dreaming about my past lives while I was in high school. So I would dream about battlefields, and I knew oh, wow, that's too real. It's too realistic to only be a dream. And it was graphic. I was on the ground, on my back, looking up, and there were heads on sticks. And, your imagination just can't, I don't know. There's just no explaining it. And so I believed in reincarnation also, which went against my whole family and their belief system. But again, my experiences, I'm going to believe what I see and what I'm experiencing over what somebody's telling me that I should believe or have faith about, not to talk, smack about anyone's beliefs. I don't mind, but you can't persuade somebody else, when they're experiencing something else and say, no, that's not possible.
I know, I relate to that, for me, because I'm into all of this, which I don't understand why it's even considered woo-woo. To me, it's all normal, but whatever. When you come up from, in the religious ways, and you're kind of said, hey, served us on a platter. Hey, this is what you're supposed to believe. And if you don't believe it, then you're weird and we're normal and you're the weird one. I'm like, okay, whatever.
I know it comes from a place of love. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the line. But my family had like an intervention where I thought I was going to just a dinner, like with my family. And they like, it was like, when they do a drug intervention and they
Yeah.
just wanted me to be in the same place in the afterlife with them. I get
Yeah.
that it's from love, but it was like they
Yeah.
cornered me and they were pressuring me. And it was, I think I was like 18 at the time, 20. And they were like, you have to, believe what we believe. We all just want to be together in the afterlife. And that happened. And even like, God, my stepdad was passing away. And the last thing he said was to my sister, make sure she knows Jesus so she could be with us. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's the last thing. Like, really? I'm going to see you. And in fact, I've gone and I have seen him.
I've seen Jesus and me too, multiple
No,
times.
and I've seen my stepdad. I've seen Yeshua.
Yes.
I've seen him. And I've seen stepdad. I've gone into the light and seen him. We're not going to be separated.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
So.
I know it's difficult because and I don't know, what your age is, but I gather that we're similar in the age.
I doubt it.
But no, we grew up without the technology. Basically, I grew up without having even cell phone until I was in my 20s. So I didn't even have a cell phone. And, I didn't have computers at my fingertips growing up. And we are this last generation that's ever going to experience that here. That's crazy to think about. It's crazy to think about, and how that shapes our reality and the religions and everything. So we're living in crazy timeline shifts is what I feel like right now. But so I want to talk about when you were little, did you live where you're living now? Like area?
Area, yes, but not the same house. And I have to say that I've had like a recent revelation about my childhood. I saw the movie Disclosure Day, and I don't want to spoil anybody's experience of watching the movie, but at the end, the part where the main characters realize that they've had ET contact since they were children and the memories were blocked was so hit me that I started going, wait a minute, I need hypnotherapy. I need to start digging around and figuring out when this stuff really started. And I just meditated, and I don't often do anything for myself. I'm always hired, for somebody else. And I don't look at my own stuff that much. But I closed my eyes just this week and meditated, and I'm like, okay, when did this start? And I saw myself as a baby in diapers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh shit. And I'm like, who was taking me? And I saw an Arcturian, and I saw this other being that I've never seen before. And I've seen a lot of beings. This is where people get like really upset because I don't just talk about ETs that are the normal handful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I talk about ones that nobody's heard of because I see them. So, and I think being open to the idea that there's more that don't look like humans and that look very strange. But anyways, I did a quick sketch of this one.
This one was just from last week.
No, this is like from this week. Like
this week
that I looked at. I didn't render it fully because I didn't really see it that clearly. But do you see that?
That's beautiful.
So it was like an insectoid that had like a mealy mouth. And I was like, what is that? What is that? Well, I saw an Arcturian, and then I did a quick sketch of this other one. And I just went to the shaman yesterday because I go to a shaman, get my energy fixed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to have a quick little, also, let's look at this thing from my childhood. And I told him about the mealy mouth, and he goes, oh, that was a prototype for the first beings that ever ate food. He said that whatever that was is like kind of the prototype of teeth, but it was like filtering.
Like the ant people. like the ant people type, or those are, I guess those would have like tentacle things. I'm sure you've seen, I know you,
a lot of ants. I've seen a lot of big ants. Yeah.
wow. That is
A new one that I saw was really, really weird is a mole person. A mole person.
a mole person.
Yeah.
How do you, okay. I've experienced stuff and I've come up with this method over the years too. How do you get over that fear of looking at their face? Because looking at the face is terrifying. And especially on the other side, when you know how it is, like you cannot, like you think on this side, you think, oh, I want to look. I can look. I can fully, and you think, oh, I'm ready. And then on the other side, it's like,
yeah, I think, and it's a good thing that you asked this because honestly, I think there's so much fear and it's really limiting for us to be stuck in the fight or flight, like nervous system. Yeah, it's bad. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's bad, but it really keeps us down. It keeps us down.
And it's like, I'm like, why was I seeing it last night? I had something.
Honestly, after having, and we haven't gotten into the haunted house, but having lived in 13 years with paranormal stuff, paranormal activity and demons and that stuff, like my limit of what I am willing to tolerate anymore has been eliminated. And B, because I've been seeing a shaman and he taught me how to clear my space and protect myself. That awesome. I know now I don't judge based on something's appearance. I base it because it took a while. Okay. I'm not going to say it was overnight. Yeah. But like some things, like it could be a dark energy being and people are like, oh, only the light, only the light, only the light. But then a dark energy being comes around and it's hard to even discern because their energy is different. So you feel that it's like staticky and it feels like a yucky feeling. But then if you give it like 3 seconds to just see, what do they want? Yeah. And sometimes they want to help you. And I'm like, okay, I can't base it on the energy source. I can't base it on how they look. I have to base it on what do they want with me? What are we doing here? Like give it a couple seconds to just look and see what they do. And if they do something screwball that I don't like, I just push them in the light. Right. But that's something we have to learn how to do.
But like looking at their face, to me, from this is just my personal thing. I always feel like I'm ready. And then because I've had a lot of experiences and I will not look at their face. I cannot look at the face.
And they can hear your thoughts too. So, and it's,
they were being polite about, they knew that I didn't want to see the face. I'm like, I can't, I don't mind you're here. I just don't want to look at you. Like, thank you for helping because they do surgery and stuff.
At least you recognize that about yourself. But I had a fairy one time come and she wanted me to draw her. And I'm looking at her face and I'm thinking, I'm taking notes so I could draw her later. And she's like doing this and give me like the angles and the wind blowing her hair. She's giving me the angle. But I was thinking in my head, okay, her facial structure is not like a human. The nose is wider. Instantly she shifted into an anime. So I'm like, so I drew an anime. And then my daughter goes, why did you draw her like an anime? Because that's how she showed me. And she goes, no, that's not what she looks like. And I think because she could hear me taking these notes, she felt like I was judging and I wasn't. I was just, so I have to, if I want to see what they really look like, I have to really look at what they look like and not
how you want them to look like.
How you want them to look.
Yes, that's correct. That it is a lot of like subconscious stuff, especially on the other side of like with the staticky side.
Yeah. Them I had quite a few experiences too. And so I had to get to a place where, and this is just going to scare the shit out of people. They're going to say demons left and right. And it's just not the case. It's just a different energy source.
Yes. Well, what is where the origin word of demon? It means spirit. Okay, people? You can look it up. I can screen share and Google it for you right now if you want me to. So the word demon just means spirit. So we have to use discernment, knowing that we do live in this distorted field of consciousness. Even though you think it's real and everything's real, it's all distorted and things are flipped around here. Even the word nice means foolish.
Oh,
So did you know that?
Well,
That was my
I
big
didn't
life
know that.
lesson. 2
I
days
like
ago,
that.
I learned that, and it was like aha moment. I was like, oh my gosh, that explains it. So don't be nice. Don't be foolish.
Our,
Be kind.
our eyes, our physical eyes only see a small bandwidth of what's really around us. So that's, I
Yes.
think, something that people need to keep in mind, that our body, our physical body is not a shield protecting us from anything. So just because we go with blinders and we've got our physical body and we're in it, doesn't mean those things aren't all around. But it
True.
also doesn't mean that they're trying to hurt you.
And we're never alone. Never, ever, ever,
No.
ever.
Never.
Never alone. So, okay. As a child, I kind of want to, you talked about some of your experience. You were just kind of tapped in child. Your parents didn't agree with it. They kind of wanted you to believe what they want to believe. And it wasn't anything that a belief you couldn't deny. I get that. Like, you cannot deny this stuff. You can't deny. And then you go to your parents for guidance and they're pushing down who you are. So what that does to a child mentally, and thank God we're living in different times where children now that are coming in, they don't have to experience that so much. I don't think so.
I think there's a big dichotomy of experiences,
Yeah, totally. So I wanted to move into the next section and talk about the living in the haunted guest house. So you wrote a book called The Haunted Guest House. It's about spending 13 years of what you describe as extreme paranormal survival. So you were basically living in a whole world that was there that was unseen. Now, I did watch a couple of your videos on it, which are very interesting. So how did you first come to live in the guest house?
Well, I live in the main house. The guest house is right outside the door over here, a couple feet away from my house.
Okay, so you're still in that house.
I am, yeah.
Okay.
So I bought the house and it's in this neighborhood that I basically learned how to drive a clutch here. I had a VW Beetle convertible as my first car. And my mom told me to drive a clutch here because it's like a windy, mountain road.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where all the bikers live. And it's, it used to be, I think it was the Straight Satans or the Satan Slaves and the Hells Angels. But Spawn Ranch is down the road. That's where the Manson family, ended up.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So that is just down the road from me. And this house was in that biker neighborhood where the Manson family were partying and stuff.
Wow.
Okay. I knew that.
I'm like getting visuals on the energy of that property right now. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that the neighborhood was it had this history. And I knew that the neighborhood had this history when I bought the house, but I'm a tattooer and totally cool with it. No worries. And so I bought the house. I love it. It is in the hills. It's in an unincorporated part of Ventura County, but the county line to Los Angeles is just also right where Spawn Ranch is, basically. So I bought the house. The activity, it wasn't real apparent right away. But then people started saying hey, did you notice that, you have ghosts here and stuff like that? Because they would stay in the guest house. So the guest house was a lot more stuffed. Now, I would see stuff in this house, but I see stuff everywhere I live. So to me, that doesn't necessarily mean the house is haunted, because sometimes things just kind of pass through. It doesn't mean they're living there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I had seen some things, but again, I was not adding it up to an infestation necessarily,
Yeah.
But when my guest house wasn't really livable. So as I was like working on it and stuff and getting it to a point where somebody could live in it, people did live in it. And they were the ones that were like, hey, stuff is happening over here. So the longer it seemed that people stayed in there and the more that we kind of acknowledged it was there, the more it ramped up. And it just got worse and worse over the years. And, it would wander into my house too. I wasn't, safe just because I was next door. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Because they can walk through walls. Is it like, what is the hauntings like it described them? What?
there was like a bunch of bikers and mostly there was a cowboy type here who I think might be buried somewhere on the property. And because this was also like, I want to say, was it Chumash Native American area?
Oh, wow.
Anyway, it's very, so we're probably on, my daughter says that
You're on a portal.
There's a lot of bodies here. There's a lot of bodies here.
Yeah.
Underground.
Yeah.
So just like the history of it. Every time I plant something in the front yard, I dig up bones, but they're like animal bones mostly. Like I dug up a mountain lion skull.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Wow.
I swear every time I dig, I'm like uncovering bones. It's crazy.
Well, so is it like, so you don't have like just one like type of ghost or something that just hangs out there?
There was the ones that lived here. They were the biker ones, and
the biker ones.
They had, I don't know who, but somebody did a satanic ritual in that guest house, and they opened up a nasty portal where anything could come. It was like a bus stop, and like it would smell like sulfur. We would get non-human things jumping on our bodies, scratching us, burning us with like cigarette burns, type permanent scars,
Wow.
People were like, I couldn't really rent the house out anymore because, people were getting too hurt. And
oh my gosh. It was like causing physical stuff to happen.
Tons.
Man.
And there was some, and I don't want to say the word because I don't want it to get like banned on whatever platform you're going to stream it, but molesty will say stuff happening too.
Yeah.
So, wow. And it was just unsafe. And so like friends would say like, well, why don't you Airbnb it as a haunted experience? I'm like, because people can get really hurt in there, like really hurt. And I experienced a lot of it. So I had left the house empty a long time, but then I had gone in there to grab something. And when I left, it sort of like attached to me, and it didn't matter where I went. I could stay at my mom's. I could stay in my RV. It didn't matter where.
The hitchhiker effect type thing.
It seemed like
anybody's heard of that.
But what they did was, it's like they bent space so that wherever I was, it was like they overlapped where I was. It was like they bent space to be wherever I was.
Wow.
Is what happened. So anyways,
that is mind blowing. I mean, that's an interesting concept. Like the spirit can actually do that, and why and how? How is that?
I don't really know, like, how that works, but I know that they stopped letting me sleep. I went about 6 weeks with just constant torment, and this was at the end. This is in 2020. I couldn't even work because my business was, shut for 11 months. And then I was stuck in this, situation where I was being tormented for day and night. They were slamming cabinets and breaking stuff, and throwing furniture, like just the whole thing.
They were just partying on the other side just to annoy you because they didn't know what to do with themselves or something. So how did you get rid of the bikers?
I ended up, somebody said you need to hire a shaman. And then my friend looked on Yelp and she found a shaman near me.
Yeah.
So crazy. And it's weird because his reviews didn't say that he, could help you with a haunted situation. It was like energy worker. So he was having me go to his office, not to my house. And I just didn't know how that's going to work. So I booked in 3 shamans that were coming to the house to clear the house, but they were not coming for a couple of weeks and I needed my sleep. So I kept that initial appointment. His name is Michael Shaman. Michael Polson from mylightcenter.com for anyone
Okay.
in the LA Ventura area. Anyway, I go to him. I brought my daughter because she was also being followed because we weren't sleeping. My mom wasn't sleeping. And my daughter would spend the night at friends' houses where the families would get attacked there. So we were having more witnesses to what was happening left and right. So I took my daughter. What he did was he had me lay on a massage table and he held a pendulum like over each of my chakras. And he said I was leaking energy from my root chakra and it was feeding all the activity. Like they were feasting and living on it and it made them so strong. But he said my daughter was real clear, like she wasn't leaking, her portals were all clean and good and spinning perfect. So he had me on the table. He healed some childhood trauma and it wasn't anything like serious. It was so nothing. I couldn't believe it. And then he said, okay, you're not leaking from your root chakra anymore. So they've gotten weak and I'm just going to push them to the light. And then I was like, okay, what biker gang, what's his name, all this stuff. And so I got some information and then he said, I'm going to push him in the light. And he goes, all right, he's gone. And then I go, well, what about his demons? Because I know he had some, I could hear the claws on the ground and I was being jumped on with 4 legs. And we have photos. Spirit photographer got photos of these non-human beings.
Yeah.
So he goes, yes, 2 demons went in the light with him. They're being processed. And I thought there's just absolutely no way that this worked.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it worked. And I thought I'm just going to go home and it's going to be a mess still. And I went home and it was so much better.
Yeah, I was going to say it did work. I had a healing art studio and I did a lot. I mean, I went into people's homes and kind of did that, the shaman type energy work. And I've been called to many different houses over the years. So I know this stuff is real. And anybody out there, if you are having some sort of something that you do not want to happen, that you do not want welcome, that is not welcome there, just do one thing. You can get a can of Lysol, or I don't want to say Lysol. You can get a can of disinfectant spray. Okay. You can spray it into the air once and you can tell anything that's around you with a command, just like you would command AI to do something. You command your space just like AI and you command it to go away and never come back. And with the assistance of others, especially, the group matters. So having another person there or 2 or 3 other people, the more powerful, the better. Like what you went through, like you talked about how you called the 3 shamans out. I firmly believe that is a part of it. It's a simulation. I think we're living in a matrix simulation of some sort and there's rules.
There probably is rules, but it is definitely an anything goes universe. And
Yes.
I had a lot of energy workers and priests and things come to the house and it never worked. So
we
tried we tried all of it. We tried all the things, but if I'm leaking energy, then that made it a problem.
That is crazy.
No, I never heard of it. I never heard of a chakra before that moment. I mean, I've heard of it, but I know what it is. I didn't know what it is. I know what it is now,
Well, I was going to tell you real quick. I keep getting nudges to talk to you about this, but I don't want to talk about me, but I had something significant happen last night and we can put this in the video or not, recording or not. But last night I didn't remember it until I got up at 7:00 this morning and I look at a feed and then I actually comment on somebody I never comment, and it has something to do with a fireball. And then seeing the fireball, the little emoji fireball, triggered a memory that I had where I saw a fireball last night, and then the fireball turned into all of a sudden this orb being. This being, it's in my room. I'm lucid dreaming. Okay. Well, I don't even know if it's really a dream or if it's real or what, because this is it's the in between state. It's the out of body state or the etheric, a different realm into dimension layover or whatever. So I call it an ultra being because I can't really tell what it was. I don't want to say it's ET, but kind of was human, was dressed in like a uniform, and it came there to give me an upgrade, like a program. So
I love
it had
that.
me sit up. It touched me. I felt it touch me and help me sit up. I said, I just don't want to see your face because I sensed it was good. I just didn't want to see the face for some reason. I have the face thing. Or sometimes when you look at the face, it gets all blurry and weird and you can't really process it anyway. So maybe that's why, but that's for me. That's my thing. But so it had me set up and then it started like almost like it was like punching in code into my back, into like this little back area. And it was like, and then it did it real fast, like a minute. And it basically gave me a telepathic, okay, complete. You can go back to sleep. I'm going to go. Have a nice day. Bye. And it was gone.
I love that. Well, and you don't know what they look like.
No, other than I could see it was dressed in like to me it was like a military, not military, some sort of dark suit, all one piece. But I don't know. It was a complete it could have just.
I think there's a lot of beings that wear kind of like these spacesuits. They're not bulky.
Well, it
like
was helping me. It wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't bad. It was just odd that I was like, I'm seeing code in my mind, like the Matrix, like, and basically I had been asking because when I was little, I had a lot of clairaudience where sometimes I would get like from spirit, I would hear them. And it was always in this brainwave where I'd be like daydreaming or about to fall asleep. And I turned it off because when it's open and you're a child and you don't have somebody to go to, you don't know and bad things can get you because you don't know how to shield yourself. The
True.
Protection thing. And that's what I want to bring into the protection thing. But so I had shut that down and I've been asking to bring it back because I had amazing things happen with it too. But at the same time, it shut down because there was terrifying things because I could hear the demons too.
Yeah.
And they would torture me when I was little.
I've also been working my clairaudience because, when I was a kid, I had claircognizance and I would know things about people that I shouldn't know. And I felt I was too young to know this stuff about somebody. And so I shut it down because I was too immature and had a couple of times said nasty things to people to hurt them because I knew it would hurt them. And so I wanted to shut it down, but now it's starting to come back and I would like the clairaudience. And I've had a lot of beings come and try to help me because I see very well. I see in all the dimensions, all of them. I can go to all of them, but I never hear. And I'm like, man, I could get a lot more information if I could hear better. I don't want to interpret energy. I don't want to mistakenly misinterpret anything. I want to hear. And one time, this being, his name is Tawisi Malek. He's a peacock god. He's come around a few times. Wow. And he tried adjusting my ears and we turned them down to the lowest. Mm-hmm. And I heard a nasty person tell me I should go kill myself.
Yes.
And then he turned it up and I didn't hear anymore. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear the low ones. I want to hear the high ones,
Yeah, that's what happened. Like I would hear the low ones like you were talking about when I was little. I turned it off completely. And on occasion I'll hear, like I was laying in meditation just the other day, we'll say a month ago. And I heard somebody who I sensed in my third eye was like out in the field because I kind of live in the country, but I could hear them like they were right beside me, like a man saying, Eva, I'm here. And then it startled me and I haven't heard it since. I got scared because I was like, wait, I didn't. It was I've been asking, but wait, be careful what you ask for because sometimes you might get scared with it.
Yeah. For real. And I think it's okay. Like it's okay to get startled, but to stick and stay in that triggered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the fight or flight. That's the problem. I think we have to sort of fight that instinct to stay there. You've got to go to is it called the rest and digest nervous system? And So it's okay to be startled and scared quickly the way an animal would if it were being chased by another animal. It doesn't stay fearful forever. It like
Yeah.
turns off. But people, for whatever reason, and maybe it's our life too, like, oh, I'm going to be late for work, and oh, there's traffic, and but like there's so much
Mhm.
that we get pushed into this, which is never going to help us ascend to stay
Mm-mm.
there. So it is a lot of work to work through that fear a bit, but it's okay to feel it and then release it,
Yeah. The
reset.
fear thing, it's a
It's
real
real.
it's real. I mean, I'm sure you heard a lot of people talking about the OBEs and the out of body experiences. Darius Wright, who I'm talking about with him.
Yeah.
He's real, up there with, a part of the community with helping people learn how to face their fears. And one technique is like basically looking at your hands whenever you're in that state. But when the other side, sometimes you can't, it's hard to control. Like you have to really be there subconsciously. Like subconsciously.
You
I know you,
do. I know that I've had and honestly, there is this layer. I feel like it's a layer that wants people to not rise up in their consciousness. There is a layer there. And
yes.
and so as you start to raise your vibration, your consciousness, and you're going, you're meditating, you're going out of body, whatever, you're going on the astrals, you're going to come into and bump into this layer a little bit. And I think, one thing in my mind is that I was tormented for 13 years, but I'm still alive. They didn't, do any, maybe a
Yeah.
burn here or there, but I'm fine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, what can they really do? And I had so many things try to get me in that when I went through that layer where I was already doing that. Like, are you a friend or foe? Like, give you 3 seconds to figure out what you're doing.
Yeah.
And sometimes that 3 seconds is too slow. You know what I mean? And they're already, doing whatever they're going to do. And they've set me back on my abilities a couple of times. And I've had to book in with the shaman and get my energy sorted. But I've learned how to fix myself now. So I've been able to just
Yeah.
call
Your
back. If
energy
they
is
take
real
energy,
good.
if they take your energy ever, you call it back. Like I call back all the energy that was taken from me against my will, and boom, you got it.
Command it. Yeah.
It can never take from
Command
you.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. You just command it back. Sometimes they throw energy parasites.
Hmm.
I just engulf myself in flames, burn them off. And then I recognize that time is not linear. I go back to the event immediately in the morning. If it always happens at night when they're a little stronger. I go back in the morning and I go back to the event and I play it out differently
Oh.
and I get them then. So they never get away from me anyway, even if they get the better of me that night.
So with some of your abilities, I know you've had a lot, and an hour is not near enough to talk about this stuff because you can't even really set a stage for understanding this completely. But you're gifted in you're able to see the other side really well, like when you're in the out of body experiences and interact with beings. How many beings like you? There's so many different beings you've met throughout your years. Can you just give us like a rundown of how
I think
many
I've
and
I've
describe?
drawn I think I've drawn like 45 different ETs. So, I know on all there's a whole ET little clique, of people
Yeah,
that do conferences, and they always just talk about the Arcturians and the Greys and the Lyrans, and these I've seen
yeah,
the mantis a lot. They're definitely around Earth. But since I'm connecting to people's guides and their higher selves, I'm connecting to other universes sometimes.
yeah.
And it was something I really had to hone and learn because I was sending out too wide of a signal and it was inviting everything back from
Yeah.
deep space into my room to come see me. So I had to learn how to laser it down into just the one and not all of space,
Yeah.
but
What
some of the work that I do with the shaman is when we heal some sort of past life trauma, we integrate that life into me now. And so some of the lives that I've integrated into my current life now, my timeline, were ETs. And one of them in particular had 4 eyes inside each eye, kind of like,
Wow.
and those 4 different eyes see into different dimensions.
Oh my gosh.
And so when I integrated that one is probably why I can not only shift and see whatever dimension I want, but things can't shape, shift, and hide from me or what they really look like. I could see both at the same time. I could see what they're shifting and through the shift. Yeah.
Yes. That's what I wanted to ask you. I've seen that too. I had some kind of break happen. Yes, I had some sort of like the matrix broke on New Year's Eve this year. New Year's Eve this year, I could see the people that, and the person I was with, I'm like, listen, I gotta go. I don't know that was weird.
Somebody's happy about that.
Happy birthday, somebody. It's somebody's birthday out there. Happy birthday. But I don't know what. I've never had that. I don't know what that happened, but whatever. I lost my train of thought. No, I saw the beings overlay. It's like I'm looking at a person, but I can see like this fuzzy overlay on them of who they are. I'm talking about werewolves. One of them looked like a pig being. The guy that looked like a pig being, it was a demon that I was seeing overlaid onto this man. I told my friend I'm with him. I didn't tell them what was going on, but I was full. All my vision had cracked open that day. I also saw a Palladian that night.
Perfect.
A beautiful but the pig being dude that had the pig being overlay, when I left, I hear the ambulance. He had passed out, cracked his head open. Like within 5 minutes of me leaving, that guy that I was telling, I actually told my friend, I was like, I see something on him.
Yeah.
And I know you talked about that in one of your videos. I'm like, she knows what I'm talking about. It's a lot of people would be terrified when you see this, but I've seen it before, and it's just.
I went to a CE5 and this guy was talking about how his spirit guide was a reptilian. And he liked it. It was like helping him have like clear abilities or something. And so I just closed my eyes and I looked at it and it's looking at me and I'm like, I'm not going to do anything to you. I could, but I'm not going to because the man is enjoying this, whatever you guys have going on. And I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mess around with somebody's free will,
Right. Yeah.
You go. But it's funny because it was like, when I'm looking at them, they're always scared. They always have a scared look on their face. So it was standing there like,
how do you see them? Are you seeing them when you close your eyes? You can see them like standing beside you here?
No, I can see them. I close my eyes and I can see. So I can just have a little chat with them. Like, and say, I'm not going to push you. I'm not going to get rid of you. I'm not going to do anything to you.
Do you have to be around somebody's field, like in person, to see the beings beside them or their guides beside them?
No, because like when I get hired, that's what I do is they send me a picture of their face and I just look at their face and then I connect to them, their energy, their team.
Okay.
So I usually see 3 guides come forward and 3 of the spirit animal team. And then I do ask quite a couple of questions and I'm not clairaudient. So I learned that they can nod or they can shake their head. So I can get yes or no answers about whether that guide is the person that hired me in another timeline. Or if it's a loved one and they were one of them with them, like if it's an ET species or whatever, I can figure out who they are to the person and if they had a life as one of those 2. Sometimes the spirit animals are actually bonded to the person, like they lived and they knew each other in some life. Like I get a lot of falcons, from an Egyptian life where that are bonded to the person. And people have had lives as animals too. So sometimes the animal is them. So I just had recently, this is a first. I've had some weird spirit animal teams, by the way. So I've had one that was just a protozoa. I was on their team, a protozoa.
Okay. Protozoa are interesting looking. I've seen a big one, a huge one. Or
Well,
I
I
don't know
just
what
thought
their protozoa are. It's a worm thing with the.
well, I thought, so when I was looking at it, I thought it was a jellyfish or something with short tentacles. And then I'm like, I did get the word protozoa in my head. So I'm looking at protozoa. I'm like, oh, there it is. You know, it's got those little hair cilia thingies. But anyway, that was weird. But then most recently, somebody had on their spirit animal team a dinosaur. And I've never seen you. So
That is wild.
anything that passes away on Earth, they can hang around on the Earth plane for a while.
Dragons.
But dragons are not passed away. They're alive.
Okay.
So anyway, so
yes, I
anything
want to
that's
talk to you about that too. I love it.
anything
Sorry.
that's passed away on the Earth, you know, physical, and they end up on the Earth astrals or whatever the layers are, they can be around here for a while, but eventually they run out of energy and then they absorb into Earth. So people that are afraid to go into the light, they're going to get absorbed into Earth. So it's one or the other, or you know what I mean? Or go somewhere else. I don't know, figure it out, but go to the void, go somewhere,
Yeah.
but you can't hang out here forever, because once that generation of people that know you also move on, there's nobody thinking about you anymore. And there's nobody feeding you energy. And that's it. You're at some point you're going to run out. And this is why we don't see cavemen in spirit. We don't see dinosaurs in spirit. Like we don't, you know what I mean?
Right.
I see a historical figure that people still think about, like, for example, Marie Antoinette or somebody, you know, like there's books about that all feeds still that energy.
Kuan Yin. I've been thinking about her lately. I don't know why.
Yeah, but I don't think that Kuan Yin is probably like haunting Earth. I think
No.
she's ascended. So
Yes.
Yeah.
She could come to you, I think. I'm learning.
Oh,
I'm, teacher, student, teacher, always with everything. You're a shaman. Like you're a shaman. Do you what do you use as far as like you do say like your energy?
I don't even say that I do energy work. I'm a tattooer. I do. I know I do. But like a lot of times people come, they get tattooed by me and they're sitting in my aura for a while and I'm fixing them. Like I'm fixing their energy.
You have really good I'm kind of I play off of somebody's energy like crazy, and I'm like doing like this. I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like I just feel so great. Like it could be the coffee too, but I haven't even had half my coffee.
I've had half a cup because I didn't want to have a big cup and then have to go to the bathroom during the recording.
Sorry if I'm being like hyper. It's just I get that way sometimes. I get like I get excited because this is so fascinating to me.
I'm a hyper person too, but I feel like that story about you and your vision cracking open, I'm wondering if you were one of those beings like me with the 4 eyes. I might have to have a look and see if you are.
I don't know. If
you are, it's very interesting. It's a very interesting being.
Well, I was looking around and I was like, this guy walked by and I looked him up and down. He looked at me looking at him, but I wasn't looking in his eyes. I was looking at the werewolf that was overlaid onto him. It was weird. I know it sounds I was not drunk. I was not anything except for I was overtired. I had worked a bunch of shifts at the hospital in the ICU because I'm an RE, and I was really tired. I did not want to go out that night, but because I'm sensitive, and the veil was very thin this year on New Year's. It was so thin, and it happened that first night. Very intense. I mean, I had it happen 2 nights in a row, basically, during that time, but it was just weird. I could see the beings, and one of them looked like a pig.
Somebody's got an attachment that's not serving their best interest, like that, like the one that just like the ambulance had to come for. I think I would just burn it off.
Yeah.
But
so do you think that maybe I had one of those 4-eyed things in me during that time?
I'm wondering because not everyone, I've realized that just because somebody, oh my gosh.
Your dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
Somebody's walking around in the world. My dog has something to say about it.
Oh.
But anyway, there's people who are, I think their third eye is open, but they only can see like the ghost layer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the people that can see the fairies. Like it kind of is an indication
The
of
UFOs too, the
and
starships.
UFOs.
I see
They're
them. I can
different.
see.
They're different vibrations. And so
Yeah.
the very fact that you can tap into all of these ranges is
Uh-huh.
interesting to me. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's, well, I think being cracked, I was cracked open at 3 years old when I had that near death, and I was near drowning in the Hawaii oceans.
oh
But
wow.
it was not like nobody, I did not understand. I didn't have nobody to tell. Hey, I had portals opening up in my bedroom.
I have portals
Portals.
everywhere here. Yeah.
But I learned how to, guess what? I don't know, you probably know this by now, but it took me learning this myself. I can open them. I'm a master at opening, closing, and I can integrate any portal with an etheric chip that automatically blocks any negative anything to getting through it. And if it tries, it can, I mean, you can integrate them with etheric chips and everything. I learned that.
You have got to be one of these ones that I was then, because that's what their thing was portals.
That's what I feel. I feel like something. I don't know. It was the portal
Yeah, like
thing.
yesterday at the shaman appointment, because I had opened a couple of portals at my shop, my tattoo shop, to try to increase business and things. And he goes, "Well, you got these multiple portals, but let's push them into one, like make one." And so we did that yesterday. So like we're doing portal work
That's
all the
crazy.
time. Yeah,
That is wild. See, I didn't know that. But yeah, you can integrate them with chips, etheric chips.
yeah.
That
So
automatically close if something bad tries to get through.
yeah, I have a giant portal. So that's probably my biggest talent is portals. And
I love that.
so when I'm seeing somebody's guides, I really am traveling through a portal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sending an energy body through a portal and not like coming out of my body and looking at myself and flying around. Like I'm instantly there.
Yeah.
And it's a portal.
Yep.
So
Interesting. So,
incoming.
okay. Gosh, we're already coming up on time on that. Like, do you have to go to work? Do you have to somewhere you can, it's like, we're at 55 minutes in.
I mean, I do work today. I'm not in a hurry yet. I might want to use the restroom at some point.
Okay. You can you can use the restroom if you want to, or whenever.
Okay. And then we'll get back onto the topic,
Okay.
right?
Yes. I'm going to look at this different segment.
Okay. And my dog wants to go outside. He's scratching.
Okay.
So do that while I go outside, and then he'll come back in and be more chill.
I want to talk about the work oracle deck. No, ma'am. Okay.
I do feel like you were one of those beings, though. I do feel like you were one of those beings. I'm going to just quickly show you what they look like.
Look. Okay.
Oh! Okay, so this is the being that I'm talking about. Do you see in the eyes?
Yes. Yes. Wait.
And the
is
hair.
It like the universe in the eyes, like they're spinny?
No, there's like 4 pupils in there, and they're star-shaped.
Oh, I see that.
And the hands are tentacles.
That is so beautiful.
The hair like got information, like Avatar kind of.
Wow.
But it had tentacles. It wasn't like a humanoid.
Can you send me that image?
I can. I felt like you are one of them too, and they're portal makers.
Yeah.
They do a lot with their hands, like opening, and then they can see through all the dimensions.
Yes.
So they're real interesting. But what they are is the first prototype of consciousness that's separated from the great central sun.
The eons. I've been told that. I felt like the eons of time, like you're an eon. You are an eon. Like I've
never heard of a name for him, so we always call him a star being, me and the shaman, because we don't know what to call it, because it's like so old.
I had a lot of, before that last night that happened, I had this deep meditation, and I was seeing all the starships in my meditation outside by my field underneath these beautiful stars. And then I had the starships that physically come in.
That's
They
awesome.
from all directions, just like I was imagining. They know.
I can see them with my third eye, but I have yet to see one with my physical eyes, which I would love. I would love.
Oh my gosh, come with. I keep telling people, come with me if you want to, because every single time, and
Oh my
people are just like, what? I'm like, well, they're good. They're good. My people are good. I can say that. They will make you feel into your heart. And if people want to talk about, okay, this is not all love and light. We're saying that. I've never said it was just love and light all the time. It's not. You have to know
It's
how to
not
have
what
the yin and yang balance.
you do, but I think that the the negative beings, I don't think they're very high vibrational. And so the real trick is to be higher vibrational than them.
Yeah.
And then they can't touch you anymore. And you just have to get through that layer.
Got to be the commander, the Jedi.
Yeah, you do. Get through the layer. They don't mess with the people that are in the mundane lives and like don't believe in any of this stuff and they're not open to it.
They don't.
I mean, they probably do mess with them, but
well,
yeah, they don't even know. The people don't even
the
know.
people don't know. They don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So, okay. I wanted to, okay. You have this beautiful, the Work Oracle deck, a 43 card digital Oracle card. And it says it's available as an app.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. So I have it loaded on my phone. So the icon is this eye. Oh. So the icon is this eye right here. And
Okay.
when you, I'm going to shuffle it. So you just press shuffle, boom. It shuffles the deck. You draw a card and then you flip to get your card. So the intention though is to work on yourself. This is so that you can get messages about what work you need to do on yourself right now to expand your consciousness and, raise your vibration and stuff. And I know that all those phrases sound like spiritual platitudes, but the inner work is very important, to do. But so when you scroll up, it tells you why you want to do the work. And then you keep scrolling and it gives you ideas of ways to do the work and implement it into your life. And then it ends with a positive mantra so that we are saying something positive about ourselves.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that's what the app is. But
so this is on your website right here that we have the screen. Can you see the screen share?
I can see it. Yeah. And then it's got the links to the different stores.
The Apple Store. Okay.
Yeah. And the Google App Store. So it's available in both.
That is so cool. Look at this.
Yeah. So
awesome.
I've been seeing a shaman, for 6 years and working on myself. And, at some point you could feel when your energy's off. So I'll just book in. I book in now like once every other month, I would say. And the cards are a lot of the work that I did with him, like healing a past life trauma, Yeah. There it is.
Yeah. This is awesome. So here's the app. Oh, I don't think it'll share that screen, but yeah, that's cool.
That's okay.
I'm gonna look at it.
Yeah. And so people can learn, like, why do I want to do this work? And it will, I try to blend science in. So it's not just all spiritual talk, but much science-based as it can be. And then ways to utilize it. Like, there's one card on grounding and it talks about the different ways of grounding. Like there's grounding energetically, but there's grounding physically by touching the earth. Two different things, but they're both good. And, and then if you get that card, you may need to also look at your root chakra, like it's the ground, the ground. So
that is super cool. I love it. I love that. I'll share that link below here for the Oracle, the app. I think that's amazing. that you're doing, that
I
you did
think it
that?
is too. It's important that everybody start working on doing this work on themselves, but sometimes they don't know where to start. So I think having the app will help because I know that spirit can manipulate our electronics very easily. So I
Mm-hmm.
designed the app. So I included all the work that I've been doing on myself for 40, the 43 cards, but
Mm-hmm.
I designed it so that it's random every time you draw a card. It's
Cool.
going to be random. So it's not like you have to get through the whole deck before you see a card again. It's random. And that is so it makes it just easier for spirit to go past life trauma, you know, again, past life trauma, again, past life trauma.
Mm-hmm. And it's right there on your phone. That's pretty cool. That is awesome.
It is. Yeah.
So, whenever we get off here and you get just a moment, will you send me a couple of your the beings that you've seen, like a mom pop, so I can collage them and I do my little thing is I'll bring them to life if you want me to. I
Yeah,
mean, I
that's
can
cool.
use your
Like some of the ones you specifically talked about or mentioned would be good.
Mhm.
Yeah, like the one I showed you, the Starby, the Eon, whatever it's called.
Yes, the aeon or eon of time. It's like the all time of everything. Like this, all of the knowledge combined in one being. Which
So,
supposedly that's what our universe is. I mean, that's what we are. We're the universe. So it's just some of the stuff like our 3D brains cannot comprehend. Some of
yeah.
us can comprehend some, but yes,
I
I'm
think
like,
that's a big indication for me about where the person is vibrationally, is if they can understand multidimensional ideas, time, the construct of time, how it
yes,
works. If they can't get past that it's not linear, then I know where they are. You know what I mean? That's where your consciousness is. Your consciousness is there. So it's fine. That's fine. But we still all need to start doing at least clearing out these traumas and collecting fragments of ourselves around. Like if you have a past life where you passed away and your ghost is still on earth, you need to collect those fragments because Robert Monroe calls it escape velocity. Yourself wants all of its pieces. So if people don't want to reincarnate anymore, then they should start doing the work and collecting all
escape
these
velocity.
fragments. He calls
It's
it escape velocity, is collecting all the fragments so that you can actually stop the reincarnation cycle. So, you can leave, you have free will, but most people, they have an overwhelming desire to clean up their karma, collect their fragments, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And clear out all the trauma because the trauma goes with you and it's dense. So
yeah.
as the earth is shifting from the third to the fifth, we also need to release density. So that's going to be doing a lot of center work,
Mm-hmm.
release, heal, integrate a healed version of yourself in so that you can match that vibration
Yes.
and and grow with earth. And that's all we're here to do. Oh
Mm-hmm.
gosh, now what's your screen doing?
There's There's no telling. It could be the Wi-Fi too. Who knows? Because whenever Riverside records, it records at like a lower pixel level, and then when it uploads, it's going to be in 4K, so it's going to look super like clear. Did it just do? What did it do? Did it
Oh, it
do
did
more
some weird
blowing?
stuff on my end.
That's weird. This is
Oh, cute.
I love, and there's
It'd be
also
so
this.
magical.
You have to put the feeling behind it though. Like you can't just do your thumb. You have to
Is
say
there a way to make a
good.
flame? Is there a way to do a flame out
A
of your
flame.
hand? I don't know.
I have no clue. I'm just learning. Nobody taught my dog. My dog's a human child. So
Ooh, speaking of which, you did want to go into something about the spirit animals.
yes, I was just looking at the spirit ant. So if somebody or when somebody books a appointment with you and you're going in to look at their guides and spirit animals and stuff, what does that look like? Whenever do you do it virtually? I mean, tell me a little bit about
No,
that.
they hire me. They send me a picture. I meditate on them. I connect to the guides. I, I sketch out. I do a lot of little sketches. Okay.
She's so
So I'm going to cover
vulgar.
the names because I don't ever give away the names, but
Okay.
I wear a blindfold. and I move around the paper so that I don't write on where I wrote already. So I was
cool.
drawing this woman. Her hair was flying like she was in zero gravity. There was a mantis.
Ooh.
I write what color the aura is. I write where, whether it's them or a loved one. And then I write how they might feel their guide or how the guide was worked through them. And so like the mantis, I felt like he is through the hands. He could be a good healer with his hands, with the mantis energy.
That is super cool. I know
Yeah. And
I've seen you on your videos with your eye mask on, and I actually do that too, because you can, well, I can see my third eye, but I can see, like, I call them machines. I don't know, but I have different layers, guess you would say. There's this one that I can see the machines, and if I go back, I can see like heavens top. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, I know it's
you've
weird.
got this pupils too. I could see through layers, but for me,
Yes,
it looks like a see-through movie screen and a see-through movie screen. And then there's like the beings in each layer. So they're stacked this way.
that is
But
so cool.
anyway, so you have to focus on like one and otherwise it would be very hard to see.
Mm-hmm.
So your layers are this way and mine are this way.
That is weird.
It is
That is,
weird. I don't meet a lot of people who could do this. My daughter also and the shaman, they were all these beings as well that had all those eyes. Those eyes help us to see through all the different levels.
huh.
So
Yeah,
otherwise,
I'm learning still. I don't know what happened last night still. I feel like it's connected with this conversation somehow.
I've had so many over the years, so many upgrades, downloads, and surgeries.
Me too.
And I've taken aboard craft. I've had implants. I've had an ego death. I've had a Kundalini awakening. Like I have run the gamut. And so for that to happen, like, cool. I totally believe you and I know that it's real and I'm sure was something to help you and
Yes.
possibly to get you even ready to talk to me.
Yeah. And it's weird that we both were talking about the clear audience. Maybe that's a similar something, because the hearing, and then we had that glitch where we couldn't hear each other.
Yeah.
Or that's
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. It's all
I
interesting.
know. I'm
I'm
growing in some.
gonna stop and let my dog out for just a minute, and
Okay.
then I do want to do a close. You know, in the next 10 minutes or so, let's close out, because I could feel like I could talk to you.
We didn't hit on the spirit animals enough.
Okay.
I think
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna we'll talk about them. I'm gonna let her out real quick, and she's gonna run the country field for a minute, because that's what she does. Hold on a second. Come on. What are you doing? Come on. Come over here. Look. Sit down right there. Damn. Yeah, just straight. Damn. Die. Okay. She's happy now.
Yay.
She has treats. She's been outside. She gets to sit. She's spoiled, 14 years old. Okay. All right. So we're going to get into the spirit guides.
The animals, the spirit animals.
Spirit animals. Intuitive children. Where did I have? I had a bunch of little questions written out on them. But either way. So just.
So people believe that spirit animals, like you just call on them for their characteristics, like, oh, this animal is strong at that, so I'm going to call on it when I need that kind of strength. And that's a lot of the ways that people think about spirit animals.
Mm-hmm.
But what I wanted to say is that they're really a lot more helpful and that people are not calling on their animals enough. Because as I learned through healing one of my traumas, I drowned with a ship in another life. And I saw it in meditation that I went down and I was looking at the sun through the water and I was thinking how beautiful it looked. And I knew it was the last thing I was going to see. But it was beautiful. I thought it was beautiful. And so I go heal this drowning with the shaman. And he said, my spirit animal, a seahorse, pulled me out of body so that I didn't suffer drowning. And that is amazing and important to know. I've gone on a shamanic journey meditation to deconstruct myself. And I was warned, we're going to call on a spirit animal. You could get shredded by a bear. Like, just know that this is how your animal may deconstruct you. A beaver came along and just unzipped and I came out. And so it wasn't as grotesque as being shredded and deconstructed. But our animals are underutilized. But they're very, very powerful allies on our team. And I just wanted to make sure that that message gets out because people focus a lot on the ETs, the angels, the guides, the lost loved ones, and they don't realize the value also in their other half of their team are animals, which there's a lot of planets out there that I've been to that have animal beings that are walking on two legs but have an animal head. So I have to think that the animals that we've got on Earth are DNA bank. It's a DNA bank. I don't know what it is here with the animals, but they are still part of this cosmic family with us. So
I used to always paint. I'm an artist too, and I painted spirit animals, and I would write and write and write about them. They were coming through. Like, actually, I read a little book, a children's book too.
Oh my gosh.
And that all has to do with the spirit animals.
I was almost thinking that might be my next project is about the animals because I've had some very interesting activations from connecting with spirit animals. Like this week, there was an octopus. And every time I connect to somebody's spirit animal and there's an octopus on the team, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, whoa, you're
angelic almost.
They're so powerful. But that octopus gave me an activation that I didn't expect, and it was like a DNA activation. And I'm like, wow, like I'm doing work for somebody else and I'm getting activated from their team. Like, it's just amazing.
That is wild. I feel like there was a story that you were talking about how you saw like a Dobby like being. Would that be considered a spirit animal, or do you think that was a different sort of being, period?
That one, so I had a golem, but I've also seen a Dobby looking one, and I've seen trolls. They're all in that same bandwidth or frequency as fairies and gnomes.
Yes, fairies.
And probably less talked about. But I had here at my house a couple of golems, like Lord of the Rings, but not mean or whatever, like the one in Lord of the Rings. It was more childlike and playful. And, we jump in the dryer and tumble. And he would always run. You'd get the zoomies and run around my house. And he liked me to leave him apple juice. So we called him Precious. We would sometimes see him with our physical eyes manifest around the property, running around. Fairies I've seen manifest into our our dimension. I've seen them with my physical eyes. My cats were trying to get them. Dragons, we didn't even touch on dragons.
Yes, that's why I wanted to ask you. Okay, so there's so much. One of my best friends is that he can see, he's seen the Dobby, he sees the fairies with his naked eyes. He has a fairy circle, stone circle that he had a contractor actually build with these big rocks up on a portal in North Carolina. Yeah, he does.
That's amazing. I built the fairies an RV park with little RVs and like solar lights.
So it is
but I
that
actually get into the RVs and I make little pictures of them. I print little pictures and I put them in frames and I stick them and I make beds and I put in little dishes and everything for them.
I mean, the fairies. Said the fairies like that. They love it. They love you.
And they when we put out a little sweet alcohol drinks for them and stuff. So yes, the fairies.
So he talks about all the same stuff, like he does all kind of stuff. But I actually bought them something recently, and I haven't been able to get up there and take it to him. But then I gave him a flute, and he said that the fairies call it the Eva flute. They always want him to play that flute.
That's so cute.
But as far as like the dragons, the different frequencies, explain that, because I'm learning about the dragons lately. It's almost like
dragons are super high vibrational. Just so you know, and they don't seem to die. They like live. So I have a dragon. His name is Puff, and they shapeshift. So they're real suggestible. So you might be looking at a dragon, but you know, as your vision is clarifying and you go, oh wait, is that a Dobby character? It will shift to a Dobby and you won't see the dragon. So they're suggestible. So whatever you start thinking, it shapeshifts to that. So dragons can be hard to see. If I see something shapeshifting too much, then I'm like, are you a dragon? And then it will go to the dragon and it is a dragon. Because they're amazing. They're ancient, first of all. And I have to say that since I've seen so many ET species, I started to put together that the ones that have scales I think they're descendants from, I think dragons are ancient. And I think that the dragons are some of the originals and that all the offsprings are their ancestors, you know, or whatever.
Yeah, like the ETs, like it's meshed in there somehow.
Like together. Reptilians are part of the dragons, but so are serpent beings, and serpent beings are like 9th vibrational level, and reptilians are in the 4th and 5th. You know, like whatever the offspring and offshoot are, they still evolved the way they evolved. But I think they have a core common relative, which is the dragon. And when I said that to Michael Shaman, because he could hear, he said that my dragon said, I haven't seen nothing yet. Like they really get around, the dragons.
Wow. I wish I could see I know that I have a dragon around me. I know I do. There's no way I don't. I feel like I do. I wish I could see the dragon.
When somebody hires me and I see just like I connect to them and I see just one big reptile eye, like a big ass eye, I know they have a dragon, and I know their dragon's awake now, because the dragon will sleep until the person is ready to start having the interactions with their dragon. And the dragon will be with you through all your lives, all your incarnations. It's with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it sleeps a lot. So it will be asleep while you're just being in the mundane third density life of work and groceries, and that it's just going to be sleeping. But the second that you're like kind of, becoming aware, conscious, it wakes up and it's ready, you know?
That is awesome. I want to paint a dragon. My next painting is going to be a dragon. I just have to. Yeah, I want to meet my dragon in the astral, though. I want to go in the astral.
My dragon takes me around. One time it took me to the dragon cave. It was
have you been able to actually fly on your dragon, like in the astral?
Yes. God. And we go through these water caves where I'm just holding on and he's swimming and I'm going through these like water tunnels with my dragon. And he took me to this dragon cave, and it was just like in How to Train Your Dragon, where there's like every kind, every shape you can imagine of dragon is in there. And they didn't care that I was there. They were not bothered about me being there.
Oh,
It's really,
well,
really,
that's
really cool.
amazing. I want to experience that.
Just set your attention.
Yes.
They are hard to see. They are hard to see. I'll tell you that. They are suggestive. And so you just go, I want to
Yeah.
see my dragon.
I'm still trying to get over, like, why wouldn't I want to look at their face last night? I don't understand that. Like, I don't want to
I don't
see
know.
a.
You might know that you'd get scared if you see something that's not human. I know a lot of people have issues with
Oh, yeah.
a fear of a non-human being, but
But it's not even like a conscious fear. It's almost like, because this, I've seen a lot, but then when you get on the other side, it's like a subconscious thing. Because I've
yeah,
seen them, and I've seen like beings go into a wall, like an orb, be turning from a being to an orb of light, and it not scare me at the moment, but the processing of it almost give me a heart attack, literally.
there's just some, some stuff you need to release there regarding that. And then I think if
Yeah.
you next time you see something and it's, you just say, I want to look at your face, but like just bear with me. You know what I mean? Like I might get scared for a second or whatever it is, and then you'll figure it out.
I've been able to see one type of being's face, and it was the one that kind of looks like, who Whitley Strieber is,
No.
the author. He wrote the book Communion, which I normally have around
Oh,
me.
but I don't know what he looks like.
Okay. But on his book Communion, there's a being, and I've seen that. It's almost like Ghost, like off the movie The Ghost, like a ghost type
Okay.
thing. And it was
Okay.
flying through the wall, and it stopped at the moment, and it knew that I saw it, and it was like, wait, she's looking at me. It's like I
Yeah,
was
they know.
having, and then it was flying. It was halfway in and halfway out of my wall, actually, at that very moment, because everything happened so fast. And it looked at me looking at it, and I was like, I'm not scared of you. Actually, very familiar to me. Like it was almost like seeing my grandma or something. My dog's over
Maybe,
here.
yeah, maybe the more you look at things in the face, the more you're going to find that they're your grandma.
I don't know.
I'm always, I don't, sometimes I'm like, man, I'm so surprised at how many different kind of beings there are. But then I'm like, I don't know why I'm surprised. Like I see all these different things all the time. So I don't know why I'm surprised anew every time. Like I just met a fire being. It was just a being of fire from a different universe where it has a red sun as its source. And I'm like, okay, this is, that's a whole other thing, a whole other
I
different
love it.
energy. Yeah,
I
I
wouldn't
do
know
too.
what to do with myself if I didn't have all this other stuff going on.
I think you and I could have a lot of fun. I think
I
we could talk
know.
a lot of,
I know. I want to come to your house. I want to stay there. I want to stay in the
yeah.
guest house.
And I want to go to your field with the UFOs.
Yes, come on the field. I've actually made some meetups, the little app meetup, and
Yeah.
nobody's came. I've done it but I'm in a tiny little town. Nobody, am I putting on there like CE5 stuff? And
Yeah.
I did it 3 or 4 times, and nobody's come, and people interested in it, and they're like, it was gaining attention, but like, yeah, I can't.
I went to a Stephen Greer CE5 like 2 years ago.
Awesome. Did
Yeah,
you see anything?
Oh yeah. But I was seeing it with my third eye. I mean, a light flickered, so I looked there with my third eye and I saw a triangular craft and I could see the being aboard and I could see that it was Stephen Greer's family, his star family in there.
Wow.
And then I saw another craft and I looked inside and they looked human, so I was like, are you Palladian? But they had a darker hair and they said no. And I'm like, are you Yagyel? And they said yes. I'm like, okay.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to go do a contact with him at some point in my life. Maybe over the next few years.
I think that you're probably at a level that you're beyond that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go for the formal experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how does he
I
do
feel
it?
like,
They didn't
yeah.
seem to, they didn't notice that the crafts were right above him.
Well, this is my thing. Whenever I see a lot of CE5s, people are taking these lasers and beaming them up. I'm like,
Yeah.
you do not need to use a laser because
But they
guess
use
what?
lasers to circle things and go, what is that light right there? That's
It,
not a CE5. That's a CE1. If you're looking at some UFO off in space zipping, that's not a
yeah,
CE5. You want
no,
close encounter. Like you
yes.
want an actual close
And
encounter.
also, you do not need to use a laser for any of this, people out there. You
Well,
do
the
not.
Greer's team does because they point and they go, this is
Yeah.
the
That's a
satellite.
baby
That's a
step.
satellite. That's a flight. That's a, and so people don't think they're looking at a UFO, that the space station kept going by. It kept going by. So they're like, okay,
Yeah.
the space station's about to go by and that's the space station, so that people are not getting excited about
Right.
a light. So
Yeah.
they were using the laser as an instructional tool, but
Okay. Not to help. I've seen people use a laser to help. Hey, I'm here. You don't
oh,
need
no,
to do
no,
that.
no. The Greer's team, there's like 5 of them. And so one person is tracking flights, one person is tracking satellites. So they can discern what is just an airplane,
That's good.
an orbiting satellite, or the space station
Yeah.
right away. People don't get excited.
I think it is important to do that. You have to have there's all these apps. I have the flight tracker app, everything. And just the other day I had somebody doing it with me, and he saw my team, and he said he's never seen that much activity doing it ever with anybody. And this particular person, I said, well, they won't let you see them with your naked eye because if it's going to blow your third eye out, you're not going to be able to see. And then I asked them, I said, will you just show them a little something, show him a little something if he can handle it. And they did. I said, yeah, he was ready. He was ready to see it. And he said it almost blew his third eye. It was just a little smidget, but
Oh my God.
almost blew his third eye a little bit. But because some of the stuff can activate you. It can give you activation, which he
Definitely.
did. He received an activation after that.
I went to a local CE5 after, I think after that. And this is weird, but Archangel Uriel jumped in me, and as I was driving to it, he jumped in, and with him for the night, I could see with my eyes open. I didn't have to close my eyes. I could see auras. I could see the craft. I could see the beings aboard the craft. And then I could see this green energy come down like a tube. Like when submarine, they like look. So this green thing came down, and it was like looking at each person around the group. And it was raining green loving energy down on the group. And I was watching it all. I wasn't like meditating like everyone else. I was watching it. And that was really a cool experience.
That
with
is
the help
cool.
of Uriel's energy.
I just saw that as a visual. So yeah, I'm going to try to make that a visual. That's pretty cool. Cause I've actually seen that with my real eye too, where the things the orb thing had come up and scan.
It wasn't an orb. It was like a line that like had a like looking through. I don't know. I can only think of like a periscope. Like they were looking from the ship down at everybody.
That is crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I know we have went over our time, and I'm going to edit some of this stuff out, but I do want to bring it to a closing because I feel a kindred spirit with you.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I love you. I'm so excited to meet you, and I hope we actually continue a conversation. I have
we'll do a part 2. Let's do a part 2.
Yes, but I have a Zoom group as well, and some of us family soul groups. We get together like once a month just to chat about our experiences in a non-judgmental group. So I'll send you a link.
Okay, I would love that.
Awesome.
Well, Danielle, thank you for joining me and sharing your experiences, creativity, and perspective with us. Everyone watching, you can learn more about Danielle, explore her spirit guide work, find her books, and discover the Work Oracle deck through Spirit Art by Danielle, which I will link below. You can also visit her YouTube channel, and I'll link it all below. Please remember to like this episode, subscribe to the Portal Between Worlds, Starseed Essence Media, and share this conversation with someone who might need to hear it. And thank you, everybody. Namaste. Have a most beautiful day. Until part 2, to be continued.